The old soul is not a product of time, but of transformation. It is not the accumulation of years, but the density of self-awareness carved into the bones of being. It is not how long you have walked the earth, but how deeply you have felt its silence. The spiritual gift of the old soul is not taught. It is remembered, as if waking from a long dream into a truth that never left. There is a certain kind of quiet in the old soul. Not the quiet of passivity or fear, but the calm that comes from having descended into oneself and returned with a peace of the eternal. This silence is not emptiness. It is fullness beyond words. It holds the unspoken knowledge that every storm passes and that within every ending waits a beginning. Old souls are born with an ache that refuses to be medicated by noise or novelty. They do not feel at home in a world that worships the surface. They are drawn instead to the depths, to the places others fear to tread. This is because their soul remembers the journey, remembers what it is to break, and to be reformed not by others, but by the fire within. Jung wrote, "Your vision will become clear only when you look into your heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes." The old soul is perpetually awakening, layer by layer, shedding illusion and reclaiming truth. It is not an easy path, but it is a necessary one. The spiritual gift they carry is this: the courage to look within when the world begs them to look away. To possess this spiritual gift is to carry a responsibility. Old souls do not speak loudly, but when they do, their words hold weight. This is because their voice is not just their own. It is the echo of generations, the whisper of the unconscious made conscious. Their truth cuts through the fog because it was forged in darkness and tempered by time. They are the wanderers, the seekers, the ones who leave behind comfort to pursue something greater, not glory, not recognition, but understanding. Old souls walk into solitude not to escape others, but to meet themselves. They do not fear loneliness, for they have made peace with it. In solitude, they hear what the world cannot, the call of the self. Individuation is not a spiritual luxury. It is a necessity for the old soul. It is the process through which they align the fragmented pieces of identity into a coherent whole. Jung wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." The old soul has paid for this privilege through pain, rejection, and relentless introspection. They are not cynical, though they have seen the worst of the world, nor are they naive, despite their profound hope. Their gift lies in holding paradox. They know that light without shadow is illusion, and shadow without light is despair. They do not run from either. They stand in the center, holding both with open hands. Their sensitivity is often mistaken for weakness, but sensitivity is a form of intelligence, a heightened attunement to energy and unspoken truths. The old soul reads rooms like books. They feel the undercurrents others dismiss. This is not overwhelming. It is awakening. It is the soul's way of listening beyond the noise. Old souls are misunderstood. They often grow up feeling alien in their own homes, speaking a language no one else recognizes. They see meaning where others see coincidence. They feel deeply when others stay numb, but instead of hardening, they soften. Their scars do not make them bitter. They make them wise. Jung reminded us, neurosis is always a substitute for legitimate suffering. Old souls do not hide from suffering. They walk through it, they sit with it, they ask it what it has come to teach, and in doing so they transmute it into wisdom. This is their alchemy. They do not escape pain. They transform it. The world often rewards speed, aggression, and shallow brilliance. But the old soul knows the value of slowness, reflection, and deep truth. They are not in a hurry. They know the journey inward takes time, and they are willing to walk it. Their patience is not complacency. It is a sacred discipline. They are healers, though they may not wear the title. Simply by being, they invite others into greater awareness. They mirror back the soul. Their presence alone disrupts illusion, not because they preach, but because they embody. They have integrated their darkness and carry a quiet radiance because of it. They are rarely interested in proving themselves. The old soul has no need to compete, because it knows that every soul is on its own journey. Comparison is meaningless. Their focus is not on status, but on alignment. They ask, am I in truth? Am I in integrity? And if the answer is no, they begin again. They do not chase, because they understand that what is meant for them will resonate with their frequency. They attract not by force, but by clarity. They are not magnetic in a flashy way. They are magnetic in a soulful way. People are drawn to them without knowing why. It is the resonance of depth. Jung wrote, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." The old soul has learned this lesson the hard way. They have watched patterns repeat until they had the courage to face the source. They do not blame. They inquire. They do not avoid. They examine. They carry grief, not just for themselves, but for the collective. Their heart is large enough to hold the sorrows of many. This is both burden and blessing. But they do not drown in it. They allow it to deepen their empathy, to widen their compassion. Their sorrow becomes sacred. They know that healing is not about returning to who you were. It is about becoming who you truly are. And that process is not linear. It spirals. It contracts and expands. The old soul learns to trust the rhythm, to dance with the unknown. They surrender control without losing discernment. They value solitude not as escape, but as communion. In stillness, they hear the soul speak. In silence, they receive revelation. They are not afraid of being alone because they are not alone. They are with themselves, and that is enough. They have befriended their inner world. They do not seek to change others. They know the futility of that. Instead, they change themselves, knowing that transformation radiates. They become the light they once searched for. And in doing so, they give others permission to do the same. Not through force, but through example. They are drawn to symbols, dreams, and synchronicities, not as curiosities, but as languages of the soul. Jung declared, "The dream is the small hidden door in the deepest and most intimate sanctum of the soul." Old souls take dreams seriously. They know that the unconscious speaks in image and metaphor, and they listen with reverence. Old souls do not fear death the way others do. They have encountered ego death many times. Every major transformation has required a shedding, a letting go, a symbolic dying. Thus, death is not the end but the gateway. They know that what is essential cannot be destroyed. It only changes form. They honor the feminine and the masculine, not as gendered stereotypes, but as sacred energies. They seek inner union, not external completion. The anima and animus within them are allies. The old soul integrates polarity into wholeness. They are not fragmented, they are reconciled. Their spirituality is not performative. It is private, quiet, lived. They do not preach, they embody. They do not need temples or rituals to connect to the divine, though they may honor them. For the old soul, God is not a concept. It is a lived relationship, an ever-present current running through everything. They have tasted ego, but they no longer feed it. They understand its role, but they do not let it drive the vehicle. They've been humbled too many times to take pride seriously. Their identity is fluid. They are not this or that. They are becoming. They are content to be undefinable. Pain has softened them, not weakened, but softened. They have learned that love is not attachment and kindness is not people-pleasing. They say no with clarity and yes with integrity. They do not perform to be loved. They have already met the source of love within. Old souls see time differently. They are less concerned with the past and the future because they have learned to inhabit the eternal now. Each moment is a portal. Each breath is a prayer. They are not rushing. They are remembering. They are not surviving. They are awakening. They are not always understood by others, but they no longer need to be. Their validation comes from within. They are no longer slaves to perception. They are rooted in essence. Their self-worth is not up for negotiation because it is no longer based on anything external. They are not above life. They are immersed in it. They feel joy, grief, anger, ecstasy, but they are not ruled by these waves. They ride them. They observe without detachment. They feel without drowning. Their awareness creates space between stimulus and response. In that space, wisdom emerges. They do not argue with reality. They accept what is without collapsing into it. Acceptance does not mean passivity, it means alignment. They work with life, not against it. They no longer resist the river. They become water, and in becoming water, they flow through what others fight. They have learned that love without boundaries is not love, but self-abandonment. The old soul does not lose itself to be liked. It knows that true connection requires truth, and truth sometimes repels. But that is the price of authenticity, and they are willing to pay it. They see through manipulation, not because they are paranoid, but because they have done the work of confronting their own shadows. Having faced their inner deceiver, they are immune to outer ones. They do not fall for illusion because they have stripped their own away. Their love is rare. It does not possess. It liberates. It does not demand. It witnesses. The old soul loves from a place of abundance, not lack. Their love heals because it does not seek to fix. It sees. And to be seen by such a soul is to be transformed. They have compassion even for those who harm, not because they excuse harm, but because they understand it. They see the wound beneath the weapon. They know that hurt people hurt people. And while they may walk away, they do not walk in hate. They walk in peace. They are no longer addicted to answers. They are comfortable with questions. They are no longer intoxicated by certainty. They can dwell in mystery. Their mind no longer needs to control. Their soul is guiding now, and the soul does not shout. It whispers. They value presence over performance, depth over decoration, substance over spectacle. They are not interested in impressing. They are interested in expressing. They are not a brand, they are a being, and that beingness shines even when no one is watching. They know that nothing outside of them will ever complete them. They've tried and they've failed, and in that failure they found freedom. Freedom from seeking, freedom from striving. Now they simply return, again and again, to the self. Their connection to nature is sacred, not poetic or symbolic alone, but cellular. They feel the wind as a teacher, the river as a sermon, the tree as a guide. The old soul sees no separation between spirit and soil. They walk barefoot because the earth remembers them. They often speak little, but when they do, it is with purpose. Their words are not many, but they are full. Like seeds, they plant meaning in silence. They do not entertain for validation. They speak to awaken, and those with ears to hear understand. They have died many times in one life, died to illusions, died to identities, died to attachments, and with each death they are reborn, not as someone new, but as someone more real. The old soul is not a final product. It is a continual becoming. They do not fight for approval. They no longer hustle for worthiness. Their existence is their offering. Their presence is their truth. And in that truth, they walk gently, knowing the world does not need more noise. It needs more soul. Jung reminded us, in all chaos, there is a cosmos. In all disorder, a secret order. The old soul has learned to trust this hidden harmony. Even when all seems lost, they know the thread is there, weaving something sacred beneath the surface. They have met the void and survived. Not only survived, but brought something back. A truth, a light, a knowing. They are no longer afraid of emptiness, for they know that it is often the birthplace of the divine. They don't just want connection, they want communion. They don't just want answers, they want revelation. Their hunger is not for more, but for deeper. They are not chasing success, they are seeking soul. They are often mistaken for being distant, but they are simply discerning. Their energy is sacred, and they do not offer it casually. They do not fear intimacy, they just require truth. And if truth is absent, they walk alone. They have forgiven themselves, not because they forgot, but because they have understood. They know now, growth was always hidden in the guilt, grace buried in the shame, and in their own healing, they have become a safe space for others.